weird games. I think it's also safe to assume that that last game was definitely not your usual Wild Rift kind of experience, but that is all fine in the hood. As now, DR Esports going to have some good pickups. Lulu back into action, baby. Let's see how that's going to go. But mainly, they got Lulu. What ADC are they going to go with?
Yeah, we'll have to see, especially because our
Olaf. Wait, Olaf doesn't have a smite, or Olaf, don't forget to pick up the smite, please.
No, they're going to switch it up anyway, because the person picking right now is going to be switching with our point of view.
Yeah, got you.
So that's pretty much the reason why. So
I was a little bit less skeptical.
So it looks like we're going to be on a Varus perspective, which you don't see quite often. I mean, we've seen the Varus occasionally, but I've never been on the Varus perspective, I don't think.
Yeah, but Varus Lulu is not a common bot lane kind of duo you're expecting to see. They don't synergize all that well. Normally you want to try and see Lulu with the likes of a Kai'Sa, with the likes of a Jinx, even potentially a Vayne if you want to go for it. That also works pretty damn well. But Varus is going to be a little bit surprising. But what I'm expecting the most is to see the ultimate of Lulu be more impactful when it comes down to the late game stage. Mainly when Camille's going to go in for some big engages, or especially when Olaf is going to go just super high, super aggressive in those fights, go super deep, pop his ultimate to Ragnarok to make sure he doesn't get CC'd, and then just pop the extra ultimate once he's deep to get that knock up and also that extra burst damage. I think that Lulu is going to be useful, not in the early game. So early game is purely going to be poking. Then late game, focus on the Olaf and focus on the Camille to try and get those big wombo combos.
I think it also might have been kind of a semi-ban, right? Because we saw Wukong picked by the opposing team, and Wukong Lulu can be absolutely devastating when you go in with the Cyclone, go in with the Wild Growth, and then everyone's just chain CC'd for forever, and you just lose the game. So I think they wanted to take that combo wombo possibility away from the opponent. By the way, we were like laughing earlier about the Yasuo ban from DR, and indeed we have a Yasuo this game, so let's go.
We'll see. I like to sort of DR banned away Darius. They're like, you know what? We won't allow our mid laner to split push without getting contested away by a Darius. So now we're just going to get rid of Darius, because that Darius was pretty good from 16-bit, to be honest, in that second game. He was really denying a lot of opportunities away from GR Esports. I think that overall it is a good pocket ban for them to try and use, hopefully, in this game at really good in really good ways. Then you're going to be looking at also this early game stage. So yeah, so far they're going to go for a nice little bit of a freeze for their side. Varus wants to make sure he can deny CS away from the opposing side, but they are away from actually a two-man push happening so far in the bottom lane. It's a little bit pixelated on my end. I'm not sure if I'm saying that correctly, but it's going to be actually a little bit of a switch on both sides.
It's a switch for the 16-bit. We talked about this earlier. So 16-bit started this in the tournament they won a few weeks ago. They switched their Baron lane and their Dragon lane. So they have the duo over in the bot, and they have the Yasuo being very sad over in the top and just kind of trying to hold them off. But yeah, that's why you see these sides mixed up.
Yeah, I mean, Yasuo can't do anything because he's a melee character too, right? Sure, he can get some nice elongated shot like one taps, and also doesn't have to rely on energy to be able to do his kit. But still, this is going to be a complicated one. Yasuo going to go in, taking some pretty significant damage, down now to mid HP in one clean swoop. And because of that initial damage you took, like, this entire wave is going to go to waste. Yasuo is going to fall so far behind, and they even rotate everyone over from mid and jungle into the top lane position so they can instantly secure that turret. But because of them doing so, that means that mid is free, and also that means the bot lane is free, which is exactly what's happening. That's going to be a trade-off turrets on the side lanes for both teams.
Yeah, we've seen 16-bit. I mentioned this before. 16-bit has done this before, and it usually works out in their favor. So we'll see how much it kind of helps them to have that bottom lane turret down. Obviously, it's only going to help them with the Rift-Hailed and the Baron, whereas they've given up the Dragon side turret. But it's worked for them in the past, so I'm not going to really question it at the moment.
I mean, I'm seeing things that are happening just like last game. They just push inside lanes. And we're like 2 minutes in. I'm like, please no. Mid lane turret's a lot more important, but hopefully that is just not going to be the case the entire time. Varus though going to be caught up in a 2v3 with his teammate. Gragas ultimate not going to be doing too much work. Unfortunately, pushing his enemy up against the turret once again, but he's getting dived so heavily. Still able to survive for a decent period of time, but unfortunately, that is not going to be enough for him, and he will go down eventually. His teammate will be able to make an even trade-off. Camille will still be in the bot lane though, not going to be doing too much, not joining the fray, so she's going to keep on pushing that wave under tower. But so far 16-bit got a nice extra tower. So far they're winning the objective game.
Yeah, 16-bit doing a really good job. You can see they're up at 3-2 in that kill count, but I think that Yasuo just randomly died for no real reason. He was under tower for too long. He should have just gotten out of. He wasn't doing any extra damage either, right? The Varus was almost certainly going to die, and the Yasuo just kind of stood there and took all the tower shots, and then he had like 1 HP left and was finished off by. I'm not sure who it was, but it was finished off by one member of DR. So yeah, Yasuo needlessly dying here. It's not a good sign if you're trying to come back and win this.
That is indeed going to be the case. Looking out, like, so far, nothing substantial has been happening. It's a very slow-paced game, which is okay. I need a little bit of a break, seeing what happened in game 2, so I'm okay with this.
I think you're too used to last game. You're too used to last game because stuff has been happening quite a bit this game. I don't know what you're talking about. We already have 3 turns down.
It's I mean, like, now it's went down in more chill. Like, now that they got Turtle, like, okay, we're going to take a little bit of a break, and now we're going to try and get back into the action soon. So I'm intrigued to see what their next course of action is actually going to be. So far, mid lane is going to be defended as, like, mid lane turrets are apparently unkillable as seeing these two teams play. But Drake is going to be up. It's going to be a Mountain Drake, which Mountain Drake's always a good one. Yeah. So yeah, it was taken earlier. They got the Drake, but the next Mountain Drake is going to be the one on the menu. So that's going to be the one that they're going to have to focus down eventually.
Well, the buff is on 16-bit gear. They have those shields, and they're actually trying to push this turret down. But
yeah. Good defense, Redemption coming on through. Going to get some decent heals, though, on top. And also the bullet time coming on through. Oh, that's going to get some nice damage on top. But unfortunately, they can't do too much against that, so they're just going to have to disengage entirely. But Varus, though, I'm surprised he did not get melted that easily, especially seeing that he got the bullet time and also the Wukong ultimate, and he still was able to tank up the shot.
Yeah, exactly. They rushed down. I think it was the Janna, and then there was a massive bullet time, but they just kind of beefed through it, I suppose, especially with the wild growth going onto the Camille. Camille just strutting around. Camille with the wild growth, honestly, she is really, really tall. I'm watching it my other stream because I know that it's kind of blurry on Dave's streams here, but she was massive. I was like, what is that monstrosity?
I mean, she was like, especially like if they add Shogath one day in the game, like that wombo combo is going to be a pretty interesting one. Shogath like max stack on his ultimate paired up was also the Lulu overgrowth. That's going to be he's going to make like half the map basically. That is what you might expect to happen. But now going to be seen what's happening. Herald is going to be down and going to get focused down, I believe, by the side of 16-bit. They're going to try and secure it instantly if they can. But they're just not ready. Like, they're too spread away from each other. Camille is in the top lane position. They just can't do anything against it. So unfortunately, they might lose quite a bit on this early game encounter.
Yeah, it seems like DR is really just playing the slow game here, trying to play defense the entire time and giving up a lot of objectives in the meantime. But 16-bit not taking full advantage, although we have a potential team fight breaking out right now.
Yeah, the fight's going to be happening in pretty big ways, though. Camille is going to be once again joining the fray, trying to get someone caught out of position. Unfortunately, that's not going to happen. They're going to have the one player of 16-bit going to go down initially. Now they've taken so much damage. They're all so low on the side of 16-bit, though. They're going to try and take the fight onto the Varus. Varus going to have to try and flash away, and he will be able to survive the encounter. That's huge indeed. Now he can just keep on poking as there is no tomorrow. One more bullet will come out. Not going to do anything, unfortunately, right there. But that was a pretty nice fight coming on through. It was a 1-1 trade-off, though. Unfortunately, Olaf did go down, but they were able to find down that Misfortune. Now, Misfortune is slowly but surely, I don't know what you think, D2, but she's becoming a little bit irrelevant in these fights, as she has very little damage to show in those engagements.
Yeah, I mean, she's doing, like, reasonably well. It was kind of a really kind of tit for tat team fight, as we can see here again. I believe it was a 2-for-2 in the end, actually, but like you could see the bullet time coming out of the top of your screen getting a little bit of damage, but unfortunately for that Misfortune, all the members of DR were kind of able to get out of the way there, and just it's just a lot of chaos in the beginning, and then everyone kind of backed off in the end.
Yeah, I mean, so far, it was not like a big win from anyone involved. It was just like a nice little even trade-off between the two teams, and no one was able to get a big, significant win from that. That wave clear, though, from Oriana and Varus was pretty sick, but unfortunately, they're not going to be able to find that turret whatsoever. But they are shifting their way up top, where there is going to be already a big fight roaring currently. Yasuo, he's going to get absolutely bullied out of that fight entirely. But though, as the fight is happening in top lane, that means that Herald could push in mid, which has allowed them to potentially get that turret down, which will be big. 16-bit picking up mid turret. That's going to give them so much map control. And they don't even need the Herald. That might allow them to actually pick up the second mid lane turret if they push it correctly.
Yeah, they seem like to not be committing too hard to this, though. It's like it feels like they just really wanted to make sure that the mid turret went down. And I'm not sure if they really need to pop the Rift Herald in order to make that happen.
Yeah, they got still one plate from that almost, so that's still going to be a rather useful Herald. It's not going to be wasted into a minion wave, so that's still going to be fine for them. But Wukong, though, with his teammate, they're going to go straight towards the Mountain Drake, and that is indeed going to be taken right away. Boom.
Okay, so 8K gold on Misfortune is going to be very, very scary going forward, however. So we're going to have to keep an eye on that. Any sort of a bullet time on a couple of members, and it could be lights out.
I just realized actually it was actually a Cloud Drake. I could not see on my screen. It was like trying to guess like, oh, what is it? But it was actually a Cloud Drake. So that's going to be nice cooldown reduction for them all around. Now they're trying to force this as a full squad. I have Camille for once is going to be actually joining up on their position. So maybe they could go for it. But they're going for a dive in the enemy jungle when they still haven't picked up turrets in mid. That means that they're going to be somewhat locked in a position. They're going to try and make it through the tower. Though Yasuo is once again going to be absolutely battered. They almost lose the Varus to turret shots. But he will be able to survive and live for another day. But for how long, though, the fight's going to be rolling on through. Wukong's going to go too deep in that fight without the follow-up of his team. He's going to get melted instantly, as now Varus still going to try and go for them long-distance shots. Will be pretty useful, but Camille is roaring on through, stomping down the competition, down into a pulp, and that's going to be her double kill on the Misfortune, potentially looking for a triple. She is rather low, but that will be at the end of that killing spree, put down by the side of that Gragas. And that will be an ace still coming the way of DR Esports. Now, mid lane turret, please, please. And they shall indeed do it. Hallelujah, my friends. Hallelujah.
No, back off, back off. Troll Matt.
Don't troll me, please. No. Please do the turret.
Okay, this replay. What is going on with 16-bit? This was such a terrible... How did they lose this fight when they're all on that side of the map and they're in their territory and the opposing team is running through their turrets? Like, first of all, they should have been closer to Yasuo. He got just completely ganked, even though multiple members in the area. And then, as they took this like haphazard team fight, most of the people weren't there. They got basically, picked off one by one. There's no way they should lose that team fight that badly, especially with Misfortune having that much gold to her name.
I agree. That's definitely a fight. I think the 60-bit could have been winning at the start, but like they got very spread away from each other. And at that point when they were starting to get low, like when you think about it, Camille is made to like chase down characters. She's going to be jumping around. She's super slippery and she will catch up to anyone. She found a double kill, almost a triple on the Gragas, but he was able to find that last second damage with that barrel and able to find that kill and put an end to the killing spree of the Camille. But still, Camille, when it comes to chasing down, she is the character for you. Then now Baron's going to be on the menu. Not going to be getting picked up, I believe. That would be a really early Baron. They're just going to clear out Vision, which is definitely a good decision. Please don't go for Baron now. That would be a throw.
I always just want to mention, just to, jump on your point there about killing the Misfortune at the end. Camille had almost no health at the end, and she was still chasing her down and was able to pick that up. It's just kind of disgusting what Camille can do sometimes.
Yeah. She was getting so many shields actually coming out from the Lulu, but talking about Lulu, she's not going to be really getting too involved. She's a little bit too far away from this fight entirely. Olaf, though, going to be taking some severe damage, and he's out of the competition entirely. But Camille going to be able to catch up one player out of position for the side of 16-bit, but she does find the Yasuo eventually. But Yasuo has just been doing not too much in this game, so it will not be all that important. But though Misfortune also drops down to her knees in submission, as now down to a 4-man squad for the side of DR Esports, as they're just going to be moving around, looking for information, looking for ways to take this fight. I mean, Drake could be a good option later on, but they are chasing down for the kills, and now they're just like, team is chasing, mid is open, we're going to take it. We're not going to do the same mistake as in game 2. We shall indeed secure these mid lane turrets if possible.
I'm not really sure how Misfortune died there. I wasn't really paying attention too much because we're obviously on the vantage point of Varus, but it just seems like there's much better focus, or at least better positioning from the side of DR, because you saw Varus. He was just having a field day, just laying out damage from the back, not even contested. And meanwhile, Misfortune is one of the only 2 kills that DR is able to pick up. So, Misfortune's either got to position herself better, or they're gonna have to take care of her better, or something, because you need to have that damage in the fight, and you need to take away the damage coming out from Varus here if you are 16-bit.
That is true, though. In terms of frags, I believe we're like 14-8, so it is still not impossible for 16-bit to get back into this one dominantly. They still got some good objective control in general around the map, so they can do some big stuff. But now it's going to be the Drake picking up. It's going to be the Ocean Drake coming the way of DR Esports. But now they're looking for the fight. This was all a bait, and they're picking it up in big ways. They pick up already the initial kill, first onto Wukong, I believe that was. And now Varus going to have to be very careful. Retreat onto the back foot. Oriana was pretty low, but it does not matter. She's still fragging out, and they're just so low on the side of 16-bit. They can't do anything to survive the encounter. And that is it. That is going to be the ace coming their way right after picking up the final kill onto the Yasuo. Quadra kill coming away of the Oriana. And now Baron is going to be on the menu, baby. You know it. As now they're going to try and make their way through to the second turrets in mid, I believe.
Finally getting those mid turrets. We can only dream
Finally.
of such. We can only dream of such a circumstance. But yeah, what a beautiful fight here from DR Esports. Again, they're just letting the Darius run absolutely rampant. The beginning of that fight was insane, though. I'm actually not sure what it was. There was a 3-man stun, but I don't even know who. Wait, who on DR Esports can have a 3-man like AOE stun? I'm trying to think. Maybe it was just a wild growth.
Oriana.
Yeah, no, but it wasn't like a pull in, like it wasn't a pull in, which they were stunned in place. So I think it was just an amazing. Oh, the
Varus also
Varus.
could be, yeah, that would be a root then. It could be the Varus then if it was a root, so that could be the case, yeah. But yeah,
so
Varus was definitely doing some good stuff.
I think that was the I think that's basically what won that fight, because at the very start it was hard to tell, but 3 members were completely motionless that entire time, and they were sitting ducks. So yeah, that completely won the fight for them. And if it was indeed the Varus, then Gospel is I'm at the Gospel of Gospel right now. I'll say that. Because his name is Gospel. You can't see his name.
Oh, I can't see his name. It looks like Minecraft for me. I have no idea what's happening. But that's fine. But what I'm seeing right now is the mid lane is going to get cracked on open. I mean, they got the Baron, which is indeed get Baron, get the second turret. Not inhib turret, like you're not going to get that one. Do not go for that one. Just try and get some good pressure. Force the wave under if you can, and try and make sure that you can maybe focus also onto the top lane, because top lane is where things are happening so far. Wave is pushing and crashing on the second turret. The turret did indeed go down, I believe, or at least it was about to go down in just a few minutes. So they got to keep that in mind. But they are keeping the pressure down onto this Baron lane position as they're going to go for the push redemption under the tower. They're going to go for the big boy dive. And again, all the CC, all the damage is coming their way, and they find 1-2 kills, and they're going to retreat, find the inhib turret, and they might just end off this fight. Like, that was unexpected for sure, but it's so damn well executed. They could not do anything on the side of 16-bit.
They're going to go for the Nexus. They're actually trying to push it down. Nexus isn't really getting that low, but they're trying. They're trying for sure.
Ooh. Maybe a little bit too short there. Nice look coming up from the Varus, picking up another kill. That's going to be the ace. And after the ace, you know what comes up? The game. That's what comes up. And that's going to be all said and done. GG, well played. 2-1 for DR Esports. What a game. And that's what happens when you secure mid turrets, baby. Oh, yeah.
Get mid turret.